Chris Bryant, who was doing a really great job on the liaison committee for our numbers, and has now left to go and be a junior minister. So he writes the Bible on standards and then departs.
We've lost a few of our select committee chairs, haven't we?
I know.
Fingers crossed they'll replace them with some people who are decent.
Yeah.
I think it's quite neat for Chris Bryant. You do the standards committee, you write the book, and then immediately afterwards you get a shadow junior minister brief. Draw the line under that. A year in, shadowing, and then fucking into government, job done.
Blade of blinder.
Yeah, I think that's worked out quite nicely for him, to be honest with you. Yeah. And Darren Jones as well. He's done pretty well out of this, haven't they? Basically, anyone who's managed to get in this reshuffle, you're fucking laughing, right?
Yeah.
You're in government, unless they fuck it up.
Huff and Andy. But you guys probably did this, right?
Yeah, we spoke about it. I mean, we can talk about it some more. I thought it was quite humiliating, to be honest with you, to be like, yeah, you are the shadow Secretary of State or shadow minister at the moment for international development, for which there is no corresponding government post. So sucks to be you, I guess. Yeah. I mean, I don't know is Starmer so strong that there's no possibility that ever comes back to bite him in the arse?
I think anything can come back to bite you, but it is strange how powerful he is, right? Because you think about the 3 previous Labour PMs.
Yep.
Blair had Brown as a counterweight, and then Attlee and Wilson both had this amazing team of people they were just one part of. Whereas Starmer, he's got Reeves. I guess Reeves could become like his Brown, but right now he's got complete control of the party. Mm-hmm. You haven't really had anything like that in the Labour Party.
It's not really an embarrassment of riches, is it?
Yeah.
Elsewhere in the shadow cabinet.
I think that Reeves is a establishment. Westminster like her, and then the rest of the country don't know who she is. So that YouGov polling that was a couple of weeks ago, and it was who would make a better chancellor. It was 16 and 17% for Reeves and Hunt, and then it was 69% don't know. The public don't know who they are.
Yeah,
it's pretty standard though, isn't it? Right? I think generally speaking, you could probably put one of those sheets of that you'd see the bouncers have of people who are banned from pubs. Like One-Eyed John and shit like that. Mick and his mate. And you could put that in front, but it was cabinet ministers, and you put that in front of most regular people. They wouldn't be able to tell you the names of the people on the piece of paper, right? The actual recognition, fate of politician, I think it goes Prime Minister, a little bit leader of the opposition, and after that it's basically gone.
You don't think Ange would be up there?
No.
Who?
I actually do. Angela right now.
Yeah.
I don't think she
should
would.
be.
Sadiq Khan, Nigel. I think that you're pushing it at this point.
I think a lot of people would be shocked to learn that Sadiq Khan's mayor of London, in London.
Yeah. What do you think
Boris was a name.
Right.
I think now, because people are so angry about ULEZ.
You think actually after the by-election?
Yeah. Not angry about you, Les.
Anecdotally, in my qualitative assessment.
You and Julia Hartley-Brewer.
When I've been doing Vox Pops, I was doing a Vox Pop about tax. That's my mention. that's my plug.
I paid for that.
And it wasn't about you, Les. It wasn't about Sadiq Khan, but people voluntarily brought up how angry they were about you, Les.
Yeah, look, I think there's a minority of people who are bothered about this. Mm. I mean, and I'm not just saying that. That's what the polling shows. The polling shows that more than half of people in London are supportive of ULEZ. I think of that minority, a significant one, let's just say it's 30%, take a figure out the X, I don't actually know what it is. Within that, there's a very small but incredibly vocal minority who are enraged by it. And so they phone into LBC, they see you on the street with a mic and they come over and talk to you about it. In a way, there's actually very few political issues, right? When we've been out Vox Popping, where someone will literally walk over and be like, I want to talk to you. That's fucking rare. You've usually got to press gang people into talking to you, haven't you? So there is a strength of feeling, but it infuriates me. I heard it on the Today programme this week. Michelle Hussein was interviewing someone and she was like, I think it could even have been Starmer. And she was like, ULEZ, that's what lost you Uxbridge. And it's like, it's not what fucking lost Uxbridge. What lost Uxbridge was the fact it was outside of university term time and 20,000 Brunel students were not there to vote. How do students vote? Generally speaking, for the Labour Party. I'm going to blow your mind here. You can project ULEZ onto it all that you want to.
But what do you mean lost? it wasn't their seat.
Yeah.
They cut the majority by 90%. What's going on here?
Yes, exactly. And it's just like, the narrative in the media is that ULEZ is like this great popular revolt that Sadiq Khan is imposing on the population of London, when more than half of the population support it, a very small minority of motorists, and we can do our is there a war on the motorists conversation if we want to. But it's like, what, 1 in 10? Less than?
Yeah, 9.5% of all cars.
So anyway, we've digressed somewhat from PMQs.
Yeah, we have. Do you know who said that thing about the ULEZ thing about, the students, the 20,000 students?
Yeah.
That Tory MP with I went for lunch with last week.
All right.
First thing he said.
Yeah.
He was like, isn't it great them not being there?
It's nuts that Desmond Sween said that.
Edward Lee said that?
It's so insightful.
Daniel Kaczynski.
Why did you go for Desmond Swain?
Because you
Swainer. It has to be Swainer. Come on. He's like the archetype, isn't he?
Who's your top source in the Tory party?
Before we did this episode, because there won't be any more.
Yeah. Oh, you're looking for me to answer?
No, obviously I'm not looking for you to answer. It's funny.
Yeah.
Swainer for me, archetypal Tory MP. I love him.
Yeah, he kind of rules.
Double-breasted suit.
I got a soft spot for Charles Walker. You know that guy?
Yeah,
obviously.
Yeah, the guy that
Absolutely.
did,
Pint of milk.
yeah, and the guy also did the Burko speech back in 2015 when he saved Burko.
Did he?
You don't remember that?
No.
It's amazing. Yeah, they tried to get rid of Burko last day of the 2015 Parliament, and Walker gets up and gives this big speech about how no one had told him about the plot and how he'd rather be, what's the line? It's like, I'd rather be an honourable man than a clever fool. And he's like crying, almost crying, he's tearful. And
Yeah.
so's Burko, and they save him. And then he gets
Very
to
emotional man.
dominate Brexit debate for the next 4 years because of Charles Walker, essentially.
But the only problem with that is I don't know if I'd like Charles Walker's endorsement because the other things that he has rebelled against are like
Curious.
the upskirting ban.
Has he done that?
Has he?
Maybe I've got the wrong person.
I think you might have.
I think you may do.
He's a pretty decent guy.
Who am I thinking of?
Someone
You're
filibustered
thinking of
it.
Chopper, aren't you? Christopher Chope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, Charles
This is the
Walker.
guy that did the pint of milk, yeah.
Yeah. He's like he was like considerate anti-lockdown guy.
Yeah.
He was so angry about. He was on Channel 4 News and went like nuts.
About Boris
Yeah.
and about Truss.
Yes, because he's retiring it. He's leaving Parliament, so that I don't have to pretend anymore.
Yeah.
Or like William
Mask off.
Ragg as well. Ragg's done that as well, hasn't
Yeah.
he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got time for both of those too.
Got a lot of time for William Ragg.
Yeah.
That's quite liberating.
Yeah, I imagine so.
Walker was on the Privileges Committee as well. I think he was a big part of making that what it was.
Maybe you should do a profile on him.
Great idea, Ray.
Yeah.
Thanks.
You can put it next to your piece on tax.
I'll tell the new Statesman you've commissioned it. So
Yeah.
that's it. That's
It's
done.
done.
Yeah.